Today we're going to be looking through the packets that I handed you guys at the beginning of class. We're going to be going through this PowerPoint, which is the lamb anatomy and breakdown. There are a couple of things in your packets. There's a question paper. There are pictures that have been taken from the slides to enlarge them so you can actually read them better. And there's also the instructions for the project that we're going to do tomorrow. Be productive in that area. All of the objectives that we will be learning throughout this lesson are at the bottom of each slide. You will understand the different body part placements, compare the body styles of different breeding purposes and things of that nature, analyze the main meat cuts, display qualities of different body styles, and create the most effective body style with the clay, which is what we're going to be doing tomorrow. So can you guys name 5 or 8 different parts of a car? It doesn't have to be a big part. Yes?
The engine.
The engine? Transmission?
The wheels.
The wheels, which is what we're going to be looking into. So the basics, but before I get into that, any bullet point that you see that has a star in front of the sentence or the note, I need you guys to write down below the slide in your packet, because those are the main notes you want to focus on. When we get to the question sheet and the homework, those are the things that will be focused on more. So for the basics, you get into the age. Some people think that lamb and sheep are 2 totally different things, but that's not true. The only difference is the age. So today we're going to finish up the questions that are in your packet after all the slides. And you can use the notes in your slides, you can use the pictures in your packets, and you can ask me questions. Tomorrow we're going to do the group project with the clay models and write down all of your explanations. With number 1, name the part that is on top of the head. A pole, exactly. How about a true and false question, number 11? True or false, breeders have different preferences in body styles. True, that's exactly right. What about number 25? Lambs are used for both blank and blank normally, but are now being used for what in some places?
Breeding and marketing and milk.
Yes, milk. Do you remember where I said that
Down south where they
like in Nevada?
like
Nevada and
what else?
Texas, yeah.
There's Texas and
Yes.
Nevada.
Yep, there you go. Are there any other questions you have about this homework or anything else you want to know that could possibly help you? No? Okay, then the rest of these questions you'll have to do for homework, and make sure you focus on the ones that are highlighted on the question sheet, and the bullet points that are starred inside the PowerPoint presentation slides are going to be those answers. So just make sure you finish that and be ready for tomorrow when we work with the clay. And you guys are good. Thank you. Okay. Hey guys, today we're going to do the second part of the lesson where we're making the clay models of the type of sheep that you choose. Do you guys have your packets out and everything? You have your pencil and the clay. Okay, we're going to go over some of the questions that I had you do last night for homework, and we'll do a little bit of review before we actually make the clay model. So go to page 10 and look over the questions that I have highlighted for you guys. We're going to answer the ones that I had you focus on more. So we'll go through them real quick. What's number 3? Does anyone know? Loin. Yep. What about number 8? Packets, which you already do. You're going to pick a style, whether it be breeding or market. You can refer to the 2 different styles on pages 6 and 7 and the pictures on page 12 in the packets. You're going to read the instructions on page 9, which are going to have the 3 questions that you're going to answer about your style and what you made. Then you're going to hand in your packet to me, and then we'll go around the room and you can explain the features of what you made and why you picked it and things of that nature. You're going to make sure that you use the the rubric on the back page on page 13 so that you make sure that you're answering the questions thoroughly and you know exactly what I'm looking for in the presentation. So here's an example that I made. You can tell it's a market lamb, right? You can tell that because it's longer, it's slanted down, it sets up differently than a breeding sheep would. It has the longer neck and the longer legs. What you're gonna do right now, and then after you're done, answer the questions, and when you're done with that, you just put your pencil down, I'll come around and collect your packets, and then we'll go over the oral discussions for them.
You want to start?
Yeah, you can take it.
You said page 9, right?
Yeah, page 9 is the instructions and the 3 questions you're gonna answer about your animal.
Can we answer the questions?
Yeah. Answer the questions in the packet, and then you're also going to give an oral response.
So I made a market lamp.
Okay.
So I made sure that the top of the back and the underbelly were parallel to each other and not too thick because that would be like a breeding lamp or sheep. And the legs back here are curved because you want to be able to show the muscle tone. And she's got a long neck.
That was exactly right.
And it's between me and the judge.
Between you and the judge, that's even better. Extra credit.
I chose the breeding style. Thought it was cuter.
Longer legs to show off the muscle. Kind of like, it's not as big in the body area because it has to show off its muscle.
Okay. Alright, sounds good. So the people that, the ones that pick the breeding style, would that be any good for market? Would that be a good market show sheep? No? Why? Okay. It doesn't have the muscle definition that a market lamb would have. And for the 2 of you that pick the market lamb, why wouldn't those lambs be good for a breeding project?
They're like not big enough.
Yeah, they're not big enough, they're too like, almost like
Tall.
skinny, I guess. I don't know, I don't wanna say like the wrong word, but it's
Yeah, I wouldn't say, market lambs aren't exactly skinny. They are a lot
They're
leaner, like you said, yeah. Use the word lean, which is correct. They just, breeding ewes usually look a lot bigger than they are because of the wool. They don't get sheared off all the time, like market lambs do. Market lambs have to have less than a quarter inch of wool on them for show. And that's why they usually look a lot smaller. But in reality, when you go and breed a ewe, and after it has twins or triplets, it's gonna look a lot smaller, and it's not always gonna look healthy. Like you're suggesting as to why you picked your breeding sheep. But before they had the lambs, yeah, they do look a lot bigger, they're a lot more plump, I guess you could say, is a way to describe them. So you guys can ball up your clay models or leave them there, whatever you wanna do. So when we went through the lesson, could you guys see how we met our objectives throughout the lesson? You understood the body parts, and then you were able to compare the different body styles with the breeding and the market, which is what you did here. You analyzed some of the cuts of meat, like the loin, the leg, shoulder, things like that. Then you went into the clay model where you display different qualities of the lambs, and you were able to create those lambs. Like you created a market lamb, you created a breeding